back to my channel. I am at the same attire, but I just moved locations to film this video. I just wanted to make a quick video saying thank you. And I'm saying thank you to all of you who watched our Phoenix's update video on his ASD. The amount of love and encouraging words and everything that you guys have said to us, either if you called me, texted me, emailed me, wrote a comment down below, anything you did, really means a lot to us, and it really touched my heart that we got such awesome feedback on that. You know, it was a very scary video to put out because you don't know what you're gonna get. There are some cruel people in this world, and people who will say things and, you know, knock you down when you're down, and you guys just lifted us up, and for that I really wanted to say thank you. A lot of people have been asking me questions on like signs that we saw, things that we noticed, and honestly, there wasn't a lot of things that we noticed. Thankfully, our pediatrician at 18 months told us that he needed to be evaluated. He wasn't saying 8 to 10 words yet, and honestly, we thought he was crazy. We were like, you know, that's just crazy. He's still little. This is a big expectation, and honestly, I still feel that way. I still feel like 8 to 10 words at 18 months is a lot. All our family and friends and just anybody we spoke to was just like, he'll grow out of it, like he's gonna start talking. Everybody talks at their own pace, which I still do believe. I don't believe that if your kid is 18 months and he's not talking 8 to 10 words, that it automatically means he's autistic. But I do believe that if your doctor recommends an evaluation, go for it, because it's not gonna hurt. There's no harm in getting your kid evaluated and finding out that nothing's wrong than not getting them evaluated and months later finding out that something is wrong. With Phoenix, even if your kid doesn't have autism, he can have a speech delay, he can have other things that the therapy and evaluation can help with. So my point of this message is, one, to say thank you, and two, to answer a few of those questions that people had concerns about. Is, if you have a concern at all, your mother instinct is always right. Go with your mother instinct. However, it is hard to hear that something is wrong with your child, so, or to think. So when the doctor told us that, I remember that was a horrible day for me and my husband. We were both so upset. We didn't know how to take it. We were upset at each other. We were like blaming each other, like, he has too much of this or that. You know, it was not a good time for us. And now that I look back, it was because we were both scared. We were scared that, you know, we did something wrong, or that, you know, we were doing something wrong, and that now he was going to be evaluated and something was going to be wrong and it was our fault. And that's not the case. So honestly, my first piece of advice is, listen to your doctor. Everybody around you is going to tell you that nothing is wrong, everything is okay. And you know what, even if your doctor says that, because some doctors will say that, if you have a feeling about something, do something about it. If your doctor recommends something, I agree, not all doctors are right. Not all doctors, you know, it's based off an opinion. That's what I can say. Every doctor, it has a different opinion, and that's why some doctors will say he's fine, and some doctors will say get him evaluated, because they just want to be sure. But if you have a feeling, do something about it, because I'm glad that we did something about it. Because if we were just finding out now about Phoenix's ASD, now is when he would have been starting therapy at 2.5, almost 2.5 years old, is when he would have been starting therapy, or we would have started to get him evaluated, which he would have missed out on almost a whole year, or 9 months of his therapy. He has come so far in his therapy. When he first started therapy, his eye contact wasn't there. He wasn't pointing, like, you know how little kids point at everything? Phoenix had never pointed before. He was not responding to his name when you called him, and now he points like crazy. He still has issues with responding to his name. It takes a little more, but it takes less than before, if that makes sense. And what's the other thing I said? Wasn't pointing. Oh, his eye contact is amazing now. Like, he will just stand there and just stare at me, and I'm like, what happened, baby? And he's just looking at me in my eyes, where before he wouldn't do that. And that's not something that I noticed, because I never knew that that was a thing, you know. And with Avery now, I notice so many different things. Like her eye contact is on point, and she's 5 months old, 5 months old, 5 months old. And it's things that I'm noticing because I didn't know with Phoenix, and I'm noticing them now, and it's like, wow. So go with your heart and your feelings of what you are feeling. Oh, if a doctor says something, don't be quick to be in denial and be like, no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He might not, but why not prove him right or wrong? Why not prove him wrong? So go get that second opinion. Go get evaluation if you have any doubt, but do some research first. I mean, if your kid is just not talking, that doesn't mean anything. Kids could go without talking till they're 5 years old and just have a speech delay. Kids can, you know, there has to be multiple signs in order for it to be ASD. There has to be multiple signs for it to be anything. A lot of the things that are that children with ASD do, children who are toddlers do as well. And that's why the line is so thin and it's so hard to really diagnose. There has to be certain characteristics that really stick out in order for them to know that it's ASD and not just a typical 2-year-old behavior. So I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to tell you go get your kid checked if he doesn't talk, because there's a lot of other things on that list. So if anything, I'm trying to reassure some moms who've been asking me questions that it could just be a speech delay. It could just be, you know, them not at that point yet and it's just too early. But it could also be something more serious. So just, if you have a feeling about something, do something about it. If your doctor says something, although it's the hardest thing in the world to hear and to accept, there are so many people who told me, oh, please, he doesn't need that therapy. My kid didn't talk till this age and he's fine now. And that's great. But look, if I wouldn't have gone with that and just done it, and trust me, I didn't want to. I was just like, oh, he doesn't need it. And if I wouldn't have done that, he would have been so much further behind now and not at the level he is now, and improving every single day. The earlier you get your kid help, the better. Rather, if it's a speech delay, if it's something really, really minor, because it doesn't always have to be ASD. It can be something that they will outgrow, something that they need to be taught, something that just doesn't come as easily to them, that comes to others, that eventually will be gone. It won't be a problem anymore because they'll learn how to do it, such as talking. So, that being said, just wanted to say thank you again. If you guys have any questions, any type of videos you would like to see from us on this subject or on any subject, just leave it down below and I'll try my best. Again, I'm new to this. I don't have the answers. I don't know everything. We have only known about Phoenix's diagnosis for 2 months now, and honestly, nothing has changed. The same exact therapy he was getting the day before he got diagnosed, he is getting now the day after he's been diagnosed. So early intervention is for children, not only for children with ASD. So the fact that he was diagnosed and he's still getting the same exact treatment just goes to show that it's okay. This treatment just doesn't only mean that he is autistic. But in our case, he was diagnosed mildly, and we're just going with it. So if you want to see more on our daily life with Phoenix and, you know, how our day goes, just check out our daily channel, which the link will be down below. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.